What's up, you guys? I hope you're very well. I hope you're having a very nice day. If you're watching this on a Friday, it's also a Friday where I live, so I hope you have a very good weekend as well. So, today we're going to be working on these two little guys. These are Japanese black pines that have been working from seed. You might have seen this in previous videos. And yeah, you can see that they're growing nicely. And now it's the time to perform a little bit of a cleanup and also some shoot selection. So this one in particular, you've seen me work in other videos, and I think I show you this little guy in a shorts video. But you can see that it's developing some ramification here and there. The same with this one. This is a little guy that I transplanted into this terracotta pot. It was growing in a colander, I think, or another ceramic pot, but it was very small. And this is actually my wife's. Gift I gifted this little guy to her in a tiny, tiny little pot, and she said she wanted a bigger one, so we transplanted it to this terracotta pot, and we continue to develop the ramification. Um, Both of these, well, this one it looks a little bit more refined, but this one in particular, I think it will be a couple more years before we can see anything closely resembling a bonsai tree, but yeah, you can see that the development still continues. Yeah. So, like I said, in this video, what we're going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of a cleanup with the needles and some shoot selection. Yeah. Pause the video, airplane coming. So I was saying that it's going to be a simple operation. And another thing I should say is that if you're watching this from the southern hemisphere, this is something that I'm going to do now because we are in autumn over here where I live in the northern hemisphere. The temperatures have been um, dropping. The weather is becoming milder and milder, but it will be a couple more months before we see any kind of cold where I live. I'm doing this because the tree is telling me that now is a good time to do this. Yeah. The new growth has completely set. You can see that the needles have become this dark green. They're sharp, they're mature. And that's exactly where you should do this. Mm, I believe it's a couple of weeks after you fertilize for autumn. That's it, or fall. Yeah, and that's a telltale sign that you can do this. So anyway, I'm gonna start with this little guy here. I'm gonna set the camera down. And another thing that I wanted to tell you is that I've selected a front for this tree, and I think this would be it. We can see that we got a main branch here, another branch over here from this shoot, sorry, from this shoot, and we got a back branch here, another one here, another one here, and this will be the last one and the apex. And this is going to become a sacrifice branch. This will be much more clearly defined by the end of this video. And yeah, we continue working on this little guy. If all goes well next year, it will look even more like a bonsai tree because we will have secondary ramifications. So that'll be pretty cool. And for this little guy, we're going to select some of the shoots that we got here. And yeah, we're also going to do some needle cleanup. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna set the camera down, and we're gonna start with this guy. Okay. So here I go. So here we are. Oh, sorry. I placed a little tripod on a tin box, and so it's a bit wobbly. But anyway, here we are, and we can see that for this little guy in particular, we won't be selecting the shoots just because this year was when we needed a plug to elongate the shoots where we wanted them, right? And so we got some of them that we're not going to need in the design. Like I was saying, this is going to be the front of the tree. So we see the base there. This is going to be the first branch here, and this is going to be the second one. So we got this little shoot right here that we will select, quote unquote select. And what I mean by that is we're going to remove it. Yeah. You could leave this and thicken your trunk, no problem. But since this is going to be a smaller bonsai, I just want to enjoy it as fast as possible. I want it to look like a bonsai tree as fast as possible. So we're gonna be cleaning some of the needles that grow under the shoots. And this one in particular is not heavy on foliage, so I'm not going to remove a lot. I'm going to leave needles. I'm not going to leave it completely empty. But where we got joints or crotches, I am going to remove them because I was just sending a message. This is exactly what we want with this operation. We're sending a message to the tree and saying, hey, we want growth here and here, not here. Weaken places that are too vigorous and vigorize in places where we got enough. Sorry, where we don't have enough. So we got another little shoot over here. There we go. Back branch, super clearly defined there. These little needles that grow, you know, between one little branch and the other, I'm just gonna leave. It's no problem if you leave them; they'll eventually just fall out, or they can also produce new shoots. So I leave them sort of like a safety net, so that new buds can emerge and maybe potentially use them if we lose a branch or whatever. So over here we can see that this little guy is super vigorous. This little branch that we're gonna keep there, it's actually already forming a new little candle that is gonna elongate and mature next growing season. So no candle pinching or anything. We just make sure that the energy is balanced. I'm just gonna completely uncover the little candle there. Okay, so there we go. Same here. Let me see if I can move the angle a little bit. Here I go. Sorry. There we go. So, like I was saying, we remove at the junctions and then we remove under the branches. Right? Are you seeing this? Sorry if I blocked the light, but I want some support, so I'm grabbing the little trunk with one hand and removing needles with the other. There we go. Here we are. On top of this one, for example, we can see that there are a couple of needles that are covering the little new candle. We can remove those as well so that it's vigorized by the sunlight. Uh, uh, I feel like in every video I should add the detail that the disclaimer that I'm in no way a bonsai professional, but you know, you learn a lot by trying. There is a saying in Spanish that goes, echando a perder se aprende, which basically translates to, you learned a lot by messing things up. So bear with me, yeah? So we continue with this side. Cleaning the little candles, leaving them open. There we go. So that's basically it, you see. Um, for the little branches, that's all we need to do for the little branches. One of these, I suspect this one over here, is going to become the new apex. I'm going to show you more clearly in one one moment. So you can see the little structure that the tree is going to have. But I think we can see it clearly here. I don't know if this is focused. There we go. But you see, we got the main branch, second branch, back branch, another branch over here. Got another one here, and this is going to be the apex. Yeah, so I think it's looking good. Yeah. And the last thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna designate this, the rest of the tree really, as the new sacrifice branch. Yeah, we're gonna be having a sacrifice branch, even if this is a very small tree, because even though this is gonna be small, we want that character, we want that girth, those bark flakes, we want it all. Yeah, we're trying to do this as closely as possible as the Japanese do it. Yeah. So anyway, that's why I'm only going to leave a tuft of green at the top. And right now, I'm not going to worry about pruning um, the the candles on top, just because I want them to elongate and to add that energy to the tree, right? Add that energy that new foliage gives to the tree. Yeah. So and that's it. So as you can see, I just used my hands, and it looks awful at the moment. But you see where I'm going with this, right? So in a couple of years, it will look very good. I promise. Yeah. So we finished with this one. Let me clean up a little bit around here. Look at all the needles that I removed, and this is the the tin box that I was telling you. So we're gonna stop with this one, and yeah, we're gonna continue with this little guy. Okay. So here we go. Okay, so here we are with this one, and it's pretty much the same story. They're so vigorous, and the new little candles are starting to pop up slowly but surely. Pop up. The only difference with this one is that it's in a different stage of development, because now we are trying to produce secondary ramification on the little guy. On the other one, we don't have branches. The little candles have not been cut to produce more shoots. But in this one, you can see that we cut, and now we got tons and tons of shoots to choose from. So this is going to be the main branch for this little guy. And I'm kind of at a crossroads here, because you always hear that you leave two pods and then those two become four and then eight and so on and so forth. But here we have this little branch with tons and tons of new little shoots, where I could very well leap for, So I'm gonna first of all do a little bit of a needle pluck, and once we see the basic structure, we'll see if those are separated enough so that we can leave the four without getting any swelling. But yeah, this would be really cool if we already start forming tertiary tertiary ramification for this little guy. So a little bit about the structure. Like I said, this is going to be the main branch. Over here, we got a back branch. And then we had more branches here, but I had to cut them because I couldn't use them in the design. So this is going to continue as the new main trunk. This is going to be planted at an angle like this, you know. And over here, we got another branch. And I intend to get more branches from the shoots that we get from this little candle here when I cut it in spring. And over here, we got a sacrifice branch. Yeah. So I'm gonna leave this almost 100% untouched. Yeah. So anyway, I'm not gonna bore you with the details. I'm gonna do this exactly the same thing I did with the previous one. I'm just gonna show you the results, and then we'll call it a day. Okay. So here I go. So here's a brief pause in the process. You see what I mean? We got one, two, three, four shoots there, four main shoots growing in acute angles. That could be very well the structure of the branch. So over here, a little bit further back, we have two more, one and two. Let me come from the top here and here. I'm just going to leave one, and I intend to move this to the side like this, and then get another little branch, so that we further get that fan out shape that we want. And this is kind of crazy because I think it really goes to show that how vigorous Japanese black pines are. Because I've already removed tons of little shoots. All of these are shoots that were growing like this. They're growing like this and like this. I think I removed three or four already, and still we got four that could be, a good structure for the branch. So anyway, I'm just going to leave it like this, see what happens. I don't see any major swelling right there at the junction. But let's see what happens. Yeah. I think I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm just not going to remove any more needles, but I am going to remove a couple shoots here and there that come out in weird places. And I'm also going to prune this little branch over here just so that we push back the green, the foliage to this section right here, to this part. And it's not super long because this is going to be a back branch. Yeah, so I want to push that green back a little bit. So yeah, let's continue. Let's see what happens, okay? So here I go. So finished. We can see that we removed more needles. We cleared out places where we had too many little shoots. I've also I've also removed a shoot from the sacrifice branch so that only one remains. And over here we can see what I was telling you about forming new branches with the shoot that we're gonna get from this place. Still, I was saying that I didn't see any progress in this little guy, but that branch, it looks cool. It looks cool at the moment, and this next growing season, I'm gonna heavily fertilize with nitrogen so that we get more wood, more foliage, more green. So yeah, these are the two little guys that I wanted to show you today. Stay tuned for more updates and their development. Um, and the last thing that I'm going to show you, it's where these all began. So here we go. So check it out. This is the perfect time of the year to plant your Japanese black pines. The two little guys that I show you today started exactly like this. I think in the exact same colander. You can see that this is a super old colander. But yeah, promise, and in no time you'll be working on your own little projects as well. Okay. So guys, I hope you liked the video. If you liked anything, please subscribe, like, comment. If you have any doubts, questions, anything, drop them down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay. Bye.